Aslan looked at Dokja with concern. He asked if what he did wasn't too much. What if Krigios decided to kill the sky-breaking sword saint? Dokja answered calmly that it was the only way to force him into action. He thought quietly to himself. By now, Krigios must have already received a sub-scenario that allowed him to gain the plausibility to intervene in the first Murim. Krigios also hated the outer gods, so once he discovered the solution, he'd be pushed to help the sky-breaking sword saint. When the blue screen appeared before Krigios, he grinned. He muttered something under his breath, realizing what Dokja had done. He knew he had been manipulated and laughed bitterly at it. Dokja sighed inwardly. He was scared of what would follow, but that was the best he could do for now. Aslan glanced at him again. She asked if he was okay, noticing the fatigue in his voice. Dokja had already healed himself with fragments of a healing fable, but Aslan still looked worried. She said she was more concerned about them. Dokja was puzzled and asked why. He then realized she was right. Krigios wasn't a card meant to be used here. He had planned to summon him later, during the Demon King selection, but now he had used him to save the sky-breaking sword saint. Dokja wasn't sure if it was the right choice, but at least it was one he could call honorable. Then, several notifications began to appear before him. The demon-like judge of fire is watching you with anxious eyes. Some constellations are smiling knowingly at you. Dokja raised his head and spoke with quiet determination. Everyone had seen everything. Now it was time to decide. He said he was the real Kim Dokja. Then, one by one, the system responded. The constellation demon-like judge of fire acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. The prisoner of the golden headband acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. The queen of the darkest spring acknowledges you as the real Kim Dokja. Many constellations are acknowledging you as the real Kim Dokja. You have been recognized as the real Kim Dokja. The hidden scenario has been completed. The candidates all turned toward him, bowing deeply. They shouted in excitement, saying the real Kim Dokja had returned the true master of the industrial complex. 200,000 coins have been obtained as a scenario reward. You have officially inherited the former Gilbard Industrial Complex. The former Gilbard Industrial Complex has been declared as the Kim Dokja Industrial Complex. Your notoriety is spreading throughout the Demon Realm. You have become the Duke of the Demon Realm's Industrial Complex. The scenario ended, and the world slowly returned to normal. Dokja later sat with Mark. Mark apologized, but Dokja reassured him, saying he did well and had tried his best. Mark mentioned the news of wars spreading everywhere and reminded Dokja not to fight alone. Dokja simply nodded. The capacity of the factory has decreased due to the industrial complex's population declining. Dokja stared at the message, his expression unreadable. Forcing people who didn't want to fight was meaningless. He said they couldn't win with only the strength of the industrial complex. Their true enemy wasn't just another complex, it was something far greater. He thought to himself that the industrial complexes he needed to face were Melon and Birkin. Melon's Nebula, Vedas, and Birkin's Nebula, Papyrus had formed an alliance. The fourth wall is wriggling. Dokja closed his eyes. I need your help, he thought. The fourth wall is shaking nervously. He tried to check his status, but the wall resisted. The fourth wall is baring its fangs with hostility. He spoke gently, asking it to listen first. He promised to feed it plenty of fables once everything was over. He only needed to confirm something that could decide whether he lived or died here. The fourth wall is frowning and staring at you. Then it spoke. Kim Dokja is dangerous without me. Dokja nodded slightly. He knew that already, but he still needed to do this. The fourth wall paused, then allowed it. 10 seconds only. But it warned that all channels must be blocked. Dokja immediately called out to Bio and told her to play advertisements across every channel. Bio followed his command, filling the broadcast with a single repeating ad. Now is your chance. Healing potion. Many constellations are confused by the sudden advertisement. Dokja asked if that was enough, but the fourth wall said no. Dokja frowned. If Bio had already blocked the channels, then what else could it be? He realized it. The hidden scenario of Kim Dokja's proof of identity. The Dokkaebi behind that scenario was still inside the complex. That scenario had always felt strange. It seemed to know too much, as if someone had already predicted what the constellations wanted. Only one Dokkaebi would do something like that. Dokja looked up and said firmly, Byung, you can come out now. Back at the shelter, chaos had filled the air. Miss, where are you? Someone shouted. Han Soo-young raised her hand lazily. I'm back, she yelled. Then she looked around. Kim Dokja's mom. Raise your hand if you're Kim Dokja's mom. She kicked a man out of her way and muttered that he was blocking her path. Yusanga rushed to help the man up, apologizing and asking if he was all right. She then turned to Soo-young. Han Soo-young si. Han Soo-young groaned. Ah, go away if you're just going to nag again. Yusanga scolded her, saying she was being reckless around patients. Han Soo-young replied that she was also a patient. At that moment, Lee Seolhwa entered, helping two wounded people inside. Han Soo-young smirked. Lee Seolhwa's here too. What a mess. Did you know she was supposed to be a real villain? Yusanga blinked. How did you know that? Han Soo-young replied. Why wouldn't I? I know everything Kim Dokja knows. He keeps changing things, saves those meant to die, and spares those who should have gone. Yusanga hesitated before asking, "Are you talking about the revelation?" Han Soo-young nodded. "The future is in pieces because of him. The story should have followed its original path." A new voice interrupted them. "If that were the case, you and Dokja would just be NPCs." Both turned around in shock. The woman standing there smiled faintly. "You look healthy, Han Soo-young, and it's been a while, Yusanga-si. What brought you two here?"